Rose hips is what we're going to be talking about today. Rose hips, the herb of the day for the healing properties and the magical properties. So first, the healing properties. Rose hips are also called rose haw or rose hep, and they're the accessory fruits of the rose plant that can form at the base of the flower after pollination and the petals drop, usually in late summer to autumn. So it would, whenever your rose dies off and the petals fall away, you're going to be left with what's called a rose hip. And rose hips, the fruit of the rose plant, are rich in vitamin C, A, B complex, E, and K. These nutrients contribute to their antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects, which help protect cells from oxidative stress and support overall immune function. The high vitamin C content also promotes collagen synthesis, aiding in wound healing and skin health. Historically, rose hips have been used in European, Chinese, and indigenous North American medicine. They were consumed to prevent scurvy, manage fever, support throat health, and treat minor wounds. In modern herbal medicine, rose hips are used to support immune function through antioxidant activity and the vitamin C supplement. Now, most vitamin C, in fact, the vitamin C I take every day is made with rose hips. So, look on your bottle, you'll see that if you take vitamin C every day, and I'm a true believer in my vitamin C. And then it reduces inflammation and alleviates symptoms of arthritis and rheumatism, promotes skin healing, and improves the appearance of scars using rosehip seed oil, aids in adrenal function, and helps restore hormonal balance in cases of adrenal fatigue due to the adaptogenic compounds, support cardiovascular and metabolic health, including improving blood circulation, lowering cholesterol, and maintaining blood sugar levels. So the forms and applications. Rose hips can be consumed raw, so like you could just pick it right off the rose bush and eat it if you wanted to. These are dried, so they're going to be hard. Cooked in different recipes or as teas, extracts, and supplements. The seed oil is often applied topically for skin regeneration, moisturizing, and wound healing. The fruit itself is used in decoctions and infusions to harness its systemic healing properties. Now, considerations when using rose hips. While they're generally safe, they may cause mild digestive side effects such as diarrhea or nausea in some individuals. It is advisable to consult a healthcare provider before using rosehip products, especially if taking medications or managing chronic conditions. Now, to make a rosehip tea, use about 1 cup of water for every 2 tablespoons of dried rose hips. And you can put those rose hips right in there or just directly into the pot. Place the rose hips in teapot or saucepan and cover with boiling water. Allow to steep for 10 to 20 minutes. Then strain. After steeping, strain the tea using a fine tea strainer or sieve. And then enjoy your refreshing rosehip tea. You can also use frozen rosehip cubes for your convenience. Just add 1 cube to boiling water and let it steep. Drinking 2 to 3 cups of rosehip tea per day is generally considered safe and provides a good amount of vitamin C and antioxidants without exceeding typical safe limits. And by doing the, you make the tea, but we're talking about the frozen cubes, and just take a ice cube tray and you pour that off into there, to each tray, or, each little cubicle for your cubes. Freeze them, and then when you need, like, daily making your tea, you don't have to go through this whole routine again. Just take one of those little cubes out and pour boiling water over it, and you'll have your tea. Now, how to make a tincture. You pour enough 100 proof alcohol, like vodka or brandy, over the rose hips to completely cover them. Use approximately 2 cups of alcohol, that's vodka or brandy, for every 1 cup of fresh rose hips. And when I say alcohol, I always get this picture in my mind, somebody's gonna picture rubbing alcohol. Never use rubbing alcohol. This is alcohol that you drink, liquor. On, any of it, not alcohol that you would rub on your skin. Okay, so store in a cool, dry place from direct sunlight for 4 to 6 weeks. And shake the jar gently every few days to help the extraction process. After infusion period, strain the liquid through a cheesecloth or fine mesh sieve into another clean glass jar. And squeeze the rose hips, because these would be puffy, then squeeze them to extract as much liquid as possible. And with that, you can take 2 to 5 droppers full per day. And then culinary use of rose hips for teas. We talked about how to make the rose hip tea, and steep the fresh or dried hips in boiling water for 15 minutes. You can enhance the flavor with honey or cinnamon. This tea is rich in vitamin C and has a sweet floral flavor. Syrups. Rosehip syrup. Cook rose hips with water. Strain the mixture and sweeten it to create a syrup. This can be used as a natural tonic or a sweetener for pancakes, waffles, or cocktails. Jams or jellies. You can make rosehip jam. Excuse me. Let me take a sip. My mouth is getting dry. Going to my throat. All these herbs coming my way. And rosehip jam. Combine cooked rose hips with sugar and lemon to create a fragrant jam. This can be spread on toast or used as a topping for desserts. And then soups. You can make a rose hip soup. Saute onions and garlic. Add chopped rose hips in broth and simmer until soft. Blend until smooth for a creamy, antioxidant-rich soup. This dish is often served with biscuits and can be sweetened for a dessert-like experience. Baked goods and snacks. Incorporate dried rose hips into granola, muffins, or cookies for added flavor and nutrition. You can also make rosehip fruit leather, like, what fruit roll-ups used to be. I'm not sure if they are even on the market anymore, but they might be. For fruit leather by pureeing and dehydrating the rose hips. And then baked, let me see, I already said that. Now seasonings. Create a rub with the dried rose hips and sugar to tenderize meats by adding a unique flavor profile to your dishes. I wanted to get all that in because there's so much that you can do with rose hips that does provide extra nutrition and flavor, flavors that we don't always get all the time. So it makes it like you're turning into a gourmet chef. I'm sure they use rose hips in a lot of stuff that they do too. So now the magical properties of rose hips. Historical and cultural significance. Rose hips, the fruit of the rose bush, have been used for centuries in various cultures for their magical properties. They are often associated with good luck, prosperity, and health. In traditional Slavic cultures, rose hips were believed to protect women and children who were used in charms to ward off illness and harm. The vibrant red color of rose hips symbolize vitality, protection, making them a popular choice in folk magic. So, for good luck and prosperity, rose hips are commonly used in spells aimed at attracting good fortune and abundance. They can be included in charm bags or sachets. There we go. Your green, silver, or gold is what you would put that in. And then included in charm for their magical properties. Okay, and love and fertility. Due to their association with the rose flower, which symbolizes love, rose hips are often used in love spells and fertility rituals. They can be carried as amulets or added to potpourri to attract love and positive energies. And you can add them to your, whoops, that one wanted to hang on. Anyway, the red one is the one I'm trying to use, and I don't know why the silver attached. So you could probably use silver too, because it's letting me know that it can be used also. All right, and then protection. Which you'll want to do black for protection. Historically, rose hips are used as protective charms. They were believed to guard against evil and misfortune, making them a staple in protective rituals. A simple charm for beauty could involve holding a rose hip and reciting a phrase to invoke its protective qualities. So just hold it and recite a charm, whatever comes out of your soul. And I was trying to think of one, but I can't think of it fast enough to say it to you, so let's continue on. And then we talked about the healing and nourishment and how they're rich in vitamin C. And so that will help, and they are also used in teas, syrups to support health, especially during cold seasons. This connection to health enhances their magical use as they are seen as a source of nourishment and vitality. Practical applications. Rose hips can be used in teas, infusions, syrups, and blended with other herbs like hibiscus or elderberry for added benefits. They can also be infused in oils for use in balms and salves. In rituals, incorporating rose hips into your rituals can enhance their effectiveness. They can be burned as incense, added to spell bags, or used in cleansing rituals to promote love, friendship, and peace. And that is it for rose hips, which I love rose hips. And the next one we will be doing is rosemary. Finally, rosemary. I had said it a long time ago. But hey, make sure y'all like and subscribe. I need all the subscribers I can get. Thank you.